Hey, what's going on, everybody? And welcome into Uncle Steve's Lounge on a Sunday chill to talk a little bit of Falcons, a little bit of former Falcons, and today giving a tribute to the man who passed away 8 years ago, his royal badness, Prince. Come back and join us. What's going on, everyone? And how are we doing today on this, if you're in Georgia, gloomy uh and cool day in late April as we kick this spring off the first month? It was warm all the way up until this morning when some storms came through. But I am glad that the rain is over for now. Looks like we'll have some clear skies this week, and hopefully you'll have clear skies wherever you are. Thank you for joining us in Uncle Steve's Lounge on a Sunday chill version of the show. Thank you so much. If you don't mind, as you're coming in, make sure you hit the like button for the stream. And don't forget to share it out to your friends, man. We don't mind y'all giving some love, sending the love out. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Um, I also, before I get started, I would like to thank all of those part of the hashtag Rise Up content creators yesterday who participated in the chain video, the draft. We all gave our opinions on our draft picks. So y'all make sure uh, y'all check them out on there. We thank you for Big Low Country Sports for getting that all together with everybody. I mean, we had everybody, and I know I'm going to leave somebody out, but Big Low Country Sports, Spitty Sports Machine, 95 North Sports Talk, One Time for the Fan, Out of Your Falcon Mind, Pound for Pound. Um, uh, A1 Forever, my brother Chris in the house, Twisted Torch, Terry's doing his thing. Uh, my man Larry at the Dixon Way uh, gave in his shout out. And like I said, I know I'm leaving somebody out. That's why I hate to do this. But everyone that was involved in that, we thank you so much. Appreciate everyone. And it was some pretty good videos. Everyone had some good ideas, and but just make sure y'all check them out. I know who I'm really forgetting. My main man, my partner in crime, who is going to be with me on Thursday as we do our annual draft night, and that will be my brother Tidy from Atlanta Bird Gang. Y'all just saw him a few minutes ago. Some awesome talk. Um, Talking about some of the Bill Belichick stuff, and a lot of the stuff he was saying was right on point. Um, I think we kind of dodged the bullet, but I also understand how some people might have saying we made the wrong move with Raheem. Uh, it's gonna be something we until we see what Raheem does with the franchise. Is gonna be one of those things where, man, we had a chance to get, this particular person. So it almost kind of goes back, and I'm no way trying to compare Lenny Wilkins to Bill Belichick, but I remember when Lenny Wilkins, for those of you who remember that long ago, when he coached the championship in Seattle, in the Seattle Supersonics, and he came to the Hawks, and everybody was like, "Oh, he's got championship pedigree," and he had some very nice teams, but in the end, he couldn't give us the championship. Matter of fact, I don't think he ever got us to. No, he didn't get us to any conference finals. So it sometimes it works, sometimes it don't, but yeah, we'll see. But as far as Raheem is concerned, I'm willing to give him a shot to see what goes on. So this is what we're gonna have on tap here. Speaking of my brother, Tidy, he had a post earlier this week, and it's got a lot of traction, like all week long. Uh, and it's a question that, at its face value, it seems like it's an easy question, but maybe for people who have a longer memory, and if you start thinking about what the term all time means. The question he asked in the Atlanta Bird Gang group is Deion Sanders a top 10 defensive player of all time? I'm still, just to let you know, that post was made 6 days ago, and I'm still getting people commented on that, and I'm sure Tidy will back it up. Like, a lot of people responded to that. One My response to it was, my immediate answer would be no, because I don't stop all time at the 90s. I don't stop all times at the 21st century. I probably go back a little bit, fair or unfair, and uh probably just have a different point of view about all time. Does it mean all time since they start showing football on TV 24/7? They talking about all time from starting back in the 70s. I mean, are they talking all time from the 50s and 60s? All time means all time to me. It means the history of the game. So when I see Deion Sanders' name on there, it's not like I don't give the respect. I think Deion is a great player, or was a great player. And I think Deion did some things that others couldn't do. I know a lot of people kept sneaking in the special team stuff, and I'm like, that's not defense, though. Are you talking about defensively all times? Is he a great? Yes. He's a Hall of Famer? Yes. Top 10 all-time defensive player, which means, as my friend Jeremy Costa was trying to say, that means you're kind of throwing in linebacker, defensive end, cornerback, safety, and you're just gonna say Dion right there. And I know why people say Dion, because he's front and center. He's right in front of the camera. You have probably video of every game Dion has played, which you don't have of a lot of the players in the past, who I'm kind of defending a little bit, but it is a question. I just want to hear what a lot of you all want to say about that, whether he was a top 10 uh, defensive player of all time. That's not even all-time player, but top 10. Now, if you put that post out now, and football players today would say it, it wouldn't shock me if Dion would be top 5. Being because a lot of young guys, young kids grew up watching Dion. And I should say not even today, because really some of the 20-year-olds today might not have been watching him. He's probably a generation removed past that. So that's one of the questions I want to ask and get your feelings on that. Second question is the obvious question. Again, myself and Tidy will get you guys going. I think we're going to put out exactly when we'll start. I'm not sure whether it'll be 7:30 or 7:45, but we'll put it out later on this week about when we are going to get things together as soon as he and I talk about it. But the Falcons pick at number 8, plain and simple. I just plain and simple. Who is it? I know we've gone through measurables and who's projected to be a star, who's projected to be this, but the Falcons pick at number 8. And I'm gonna play the game just for today. And I know everybody's like, trade it, trade. I get it. Play the game today. At number 8, if we have to pick and we don't have a choice of moving up, moving down, or anything like that. If the pick is at number 8, who is the pick? Plain and simple, like that. And then last but not least, y'all already know me. I'm gonna always throw a little bit of pop culture in there. And today is a day that the music kind of stopped on this day. 8 years ago, the news came out that Prince had died. And I know a lot of folks thought it was a joke or a hoax or something like that when it first came out. but it was not. We lost one of the greats in music. It was very interesting to see the tributes that particular day, 8 years ago, 2016. I remember exactly where I was when I was in a class at the time, and like everybody was, you know, on their phones and was getting alerts at the same time, and we literally stopped class to discuss Prince, which tells you his uh what his legacy meant. And you know, you think about him and Mike, and they left us way too soon. Whitney, Luther, uh, just I know that man had more music in him, and as we're hearing later on with uh catalogs that come out late. But Prince was a monster, man. So if you have a favorite Prince song or favorite Prince memory, feel free to share it in the chat. I appreciate you. We're gonna get it started because I see a lot of people already on tap right now. So let's get to the chat and see what we got going on. My brother John Brooks is in the house. First up, he says, "What up, Uncle Steve? Much love." And I smashed that like button. Thanks so much. I appreciate it. My brother Brian Davis is in here. Appreciate you, brother. Say hi, Steve. Go Falcons. David Starts, my buddy in the house as always. What's going on? One of the aforementioned content creators, my brother Larry from the Dixon Way. Y'all make sure y'all check out the Dixon Way. And he and his wife do their great live reaction videos. If you want to see Atlanta, well, we're not going to see Hawks anytime soon, but Atlanta Braves baseball and other teams he'll do as well. That not necessarily the local people. But y'all make sure y'all check him out, and he does his thing on that channel. He said, hashtag rise up content creators here in here for some great content. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you. My brother Toys in the house. What's going on, brother? Good to see you. 95 North in the house, another content creator. What's going on? Dondre is in the house. What's going on, Dondre? Good to see you. Brian Peoples is in here. What's up, Brian? Let's pull this down just a little bit more. Man, that's a lot of y'all today. Dondre says, I have a big question. Have we lost any draft picks for so-called tampering? We haven't heard anything yet. That doesn't mean they might not come. They might come down with something at the last minute, but we haven't heard anything as of yet. So no news is good news. Let's hope that stays that same way until uh, until Thursday. That one Falcon fan is here. Hey, what's up, man? I said, oh, just dropped my hashtag rise up creator video. By the way, between Latu and Turner, I think that team will draft Turner, even though that Latu is better on paper. So y'all make sure y'all check out that one Falcon fan and do his thing so we can see who he has on his mind for the pick. Latu, I don't think you can go wrong with Latu. I just think Turner just makes more sense. I think there are a lot of people reaching, you know, he won't be this. I've heard some people already call him Vic Beasley, which is unfair. Dude hasn't played one down in the NFL. We already labeling him, man. That's crazy. C Double's in the house. What's going on, C Double? Good to see you. Much love back to you, brother. He said he got mine done, just pending. Yeah, go ahead and put yours up. Y'all check C Double out. He's doing his thing now. Content creator in the house. Appreciate you, brother. Jay Diaz is here. What's up, man? Yeah, it said, what's Gucci, my Falcons family? How we feeling before the big day, man? I'm so ready, Jay, because not that I don't mind hearing people's analysis and everything like that. But boy, I mean, at some point, if we're honest with yourself, you almost just get tired. Let's just go. You think about those moments you wait for. Remember, like at the end of the year, we were waiting this for free agency. Now, you know, we got the little part between free agency, and now we're gonna have the draft. The draft is gonna come out. We got about a week before the schedule comes out, which will probably be out next week or so. And then, after that, it's time to get this thing kicked off. So I'm not a waiting guy. I'm a patient guy, but in this particular case, man, I've heard so many measurables. I've heard so many draft analysis and all that stuff, man. I'm just ready to get it over with. I'm ready to get this thing going. JJ the Great is in the house. What's up, JJ? Thank you so much, brother. Appreciate you joining us as usual in Uncle Steve's Lounge. Thank you so much. Brian, and you know what, Brian? I see you right here. Brian also has a super chat in here. Let's see what he has in here for the super chat.
Forever Atlanta. That's what we see. We're talking about this, talking about that, and chill with Uncle Steve.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you for that super chat in the house. He said, I think he is talking about Deion Sanders, but it's very close, though. That's my only thing. That's my only thing, I think. It's close. If you start talking about Deion. It really is close. It's no shade to Deion. I know people think that's what it's no shade. And it's and thank you again, Brian. And all time. The question was top 10 all time. And speaking of which, the author of that particular post is my brother Tidy at Atlanta Bird Gang. Y'all make sure y'all check out him in Atlanta Bird Gang. And I don't know if I gave my brother Berto a proper welcome for his 95 North Sports Talk. Y'all make sure y'all check him out. Berto is also on Bleacher Report too. So y'all make sure y'all check out Bleacher Report for my brother Berto. I didn't mean to gloss around there, my butter pecan friend, and just ignore that. But thank you so much. Tidy says yes, people are still responding to the post a week later. That's big deal, man. That's some big stuff. So I do want to see what people are saying about that. Jamal is in the house. Jamal D, what's going on, man? How you doing, brother? Thank you for joining us in here. David says yes, he is. Shut down one side of the field, considered the best cornerback to ever play. So, David, that's where I'm probably, I don't know if he was the best to ever play. Dude, I used to watch Lester Hayes, and stick him or not, that was a bad boy. And Lester Hayes used to hit you. Deion would hit you, but Lester would hit you. And I don't know. I don't know. Before they dropped Ronnie Lott into the safety position, he was a decent cornerback. I wouldn't consider him the best. But overall, as a, safety / cornerback, I think he ranks higher than Deion in my eyes. Because while Deion gave you the perception, hear me out before y'all jump me, the perception of you can't throw the ball in his direction, Ronnie Lott gave you the fear of, well, even if you catch the ball, you got to eventually come through me. And that was something that folks didn't want to do. C Double says, pick at number 8, go pass rush. So Dallas Turner. I hear you. Brian says, my pick at number 8 should be Jared Verse or just trade back. Well, a lot of people saying trade back, so I have no problem doing that. That's no problem. Coach's Corner is in the house. What's going on, Coach? How you feeling, my brother? Y'all make sure y'all check the Coach's Corner out. Another great content creator. We got them all in here tonight, and I love that y'all have stopped by. I appreciate it. He said at number 8, the Falcons select Arch Manning from the Texas Longhorns. Say, wait, that's in 2 years. That's now a little early on that one right there, but hey, who knows? Maybe. David says the pick at number 8 is Dallas Turner. I hear you. Jay says the betting favorite is Latu. Don't mean anything, but interesting. Yeah, I hear a lot of people talk about that. Getting into some of the Prince favorites, Brian People says his favorite Prince love is Beautiful Ones. That Beautiful Ones was a really good song, one of the underrated songs off that Purple Rain soundtrack. And not, everybody thinks When Doves Cry, Let's Go Crazy, Purple Rain. People even know Darling Nikki, but The Beautiful Ones is a very good song that he got out of there. And I think I remember listening to an interview with the Revolution after he passed away. They say The Beautiful Ones was like one of the last songs they put on there. So C Double says, Prince passed away, hit me out of nowhere. It was. It was kind of a joke, like, oh man, are y'all serious? Yeah, absolutely. As April Thomas has got to be my brother Ron. Y'all make sure y'all check Ron out doing his things on his show. He said, what's up, Uncle Steve? Appreciate you. My brother Berto says, pick number 8, Latu. And I know he is all over Mr. Latu. I know a lot of people are scared of the injuries and things like that. But folks, even somebody who hasn't been hurt one time in their career, all it takes is the wrong hit. And, you know, I get it, but I just don't think it should be the absolute thing that will hold you back from getting real talent. That's the one thing Michael Penix. I think Michael Penix, a lot of people are talking about him. They're talking about his injuries from 3 years ago when he's put up 2 of the best years in college the last 2 years, arguably the best combination of years by a quarterback the last 2 years. So JJ said, I feel like we're taking Latu at number 8. I hear you. C Double says Purple Rain and that Super Bowl performance. And the when it actually rained while he was playing Purple Rain. I do remember that. That Super Bowl performance was one of the best ones. Best ones ever. David Stark says, I was listening to Sexy MF yesterday, but my favorite Prince song is Insatiable. That Sexy MF, that was something different. And I remember that was the year I was stationed in Germany, and I was just getting to Germany right around the time they released that. That was from the album with the symbol, the formerly known as symbol, the androgynous symbol. And that was a funky, funky song. And if you really want, Dave Matthews Band actually do a really good version of that song. If you guys look on YouTube, Sexy MF, Dave Matthews, they do a really good version of that. But Insatiable is good too. That's a good one. Prince and ballads always go together. Justin's in the house. What's up, Justin? How you doing, brother? Say, what's up, the most beautiful girl in the world. Favorite Prince song. That was the young lady that used to be on General Hospital. Vanessa Marcel was on that particular video. If you don't know who she is, look her up. She was a candidate for that particular song. But yeah, that was a good song too. JJ the Great said favorite Prince is 1999. That smooth, upbeat groove about a pretty bleak subject. Yeah, I turn it up. I turn it up every time it plays in my playlist, and that's one of the things about 1999. It almost goes into that same category. I don't know, like he's talking about 1999. He's talking about the ends of times. He's talking about nuclear war and the ending. It's one of those songs that is so good that you almost forget about the negativity that it's talking about and play. I always think about Stevie Wonder and the happy birthday song, and everybody gets the happy birthday to you. But yeah, but the song was really like more of a tribute to Martin Luther King and the things he went through and the things he had to push through to, you know, to be one of the greats. And it's amazing because people forget that when they hear the song. But when you have musicians that kind of transcend what, you know, like regular music is, Prince, Stevie, and you just make it work. You just make it work for you. Titus says, coincidentally, Prince's final concert, yes, sir, was in Atlanta. I decided around the last minute not to go. Oh, my goodness. Still ticked at myself for that, man. And it was the piano tour that his very last show ever was in Atlanta. And I think it was it 2 days later that he died? I think it was 2 days later. So yeah, that's crazy, man. Absolutely crazy. Antonio's in the house. What's going on, brother Antonio? How you feeling, man? Good to see you. Another great content creator in the house, Winston Thornton, along with our brother John Harris in the eye test. What's going on, man? And he's absolutely correct. Y'all chat, smash the like button for me. Whether you're on Facebook, whether you're on YouTube, y'all make sure y'all hit that like button for us if you like what you're hearing on here right now. WCG says, have to go with Dallas Turner, the most talented and best fit of the edges. Can't see Latu being more than a 4-3 defensive end, and the Falcons are now a 3-4 team. And the one thing you got to remember, too, and your logic makes sense, so don't get me wrong. You know, sometimes teams now, you get labeled totally. We totally play a 4-3. We totally play a 3-4. It's not really true. A lot of times they flex back and forth, and depending on what package they bring in there, a lot of defensive coaches don't like saying that. But you're absolutely right. Jimmy Lake did say the basis of their defense would be 3-4, but they will occasionally drop into a 4-3. So yeah, that I can understand that rationale for not getting a lot too. Dre says, Darling Nikki, the Purple Rain version. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You can't go wrong with that one. And WCG also says, unless a wide receiver falls. And I would imagine you would be talking about 3 wide receivers right now, which would be Harrison, Ondunze, and Neighbors. I don't see any of those guys getting out of the top 6 or 7. So, yeah, we'll see. C-Double says, let's pick the guy and go from there. I agree with you, man. I absolutely agree. David says, if the tampering was as bad as Florio makes it out to be, the league would have come down on us by now. I don't think anything comes of this mess that's been over-exaggerated by Florio. Well, Florio's bad because the Falcons were, calling him out early for, he called the Kirk Cousins thing early and talking about people he knew and things of that nature. So Florio, he's probably got an axe to grind with the Atlanta Falcons right now, so you know. Antonio says, come on 2024 with your funky butt. Absolutely. I wanted to hurry up and get in here too. Jay says the 2 weeks before the draft be the worst. It is because, and look, I told my boys, Smitty's Sports Machine, Big Low Country Sports, and Berto at 95 North, I've told them before, I'm not a mock draft guy, even though I love participating with them because it's more than a mock draft, it's being with the fellas. But man, I'm mocked out, man. I'm all mocked out. So from now to then, I'm just waiting to see what the Falcons are gonna do. If I watch another mock, I just don't know. I'm gonna lose it. Miss Barbara's in the house. How you doing, Barbara? Good to see you. She said, what's the topic? The topic, we got a 3-headed topic today. Number 1, what is your choice for the Falcons at number 8? Number 2, is Deion Sanders a top 10 defensive player of all time? It seems like an easy question, but I don't think it's as simple as it is. My personal opinion, I don't think he is. Not saying I don't think Deion's at 11, 12, or 13, but I just think there are so many defensive greats that you have to get to. Not cornerback greats, defensive guys. I mean, I'm just thinking Ronnie Lott, Reggie White, just off the top of my head, not even people that I necessarily think are the best, but LT, in today's age, Aaron Donald, Troy Polamalu, Jack Lambert, Deacon Jones, Dick Butkus. These are people that I've actually seen on the floor. I'm not even talking about people from the 60s and very early 70s. Those are people that I've seen play. Mike Singletary, uh, Richard Dent, and I'm not saying Richard Dent is top 10, I'm saying, but it's a lot of great folks. Ed Too Tall Jones, Mean Joe Green, Daryl Green from Washington. Just a lot of players. And I just find it interesting that people just hurry up and say Deion's name. Deion is absolutely in the conversation, but it's just not as easy for me to, you know, do that. WCG says NFL came down hard on Dolphins because of not only Brady but Michael Flores shady stuff. Yeah, the owner, they were trying to get him. They were trying to get him. And Brian Flores kind of got blackballed a little bit in that situation. I think they kind of did him wrong with that. And they come find out the owner was the one who was the shady guy. So that was, yeah, I agree with you 100%. Antonio's in the house. What's up, Antonio? Say what's up. What's going on, Uncle Steve? Who do you think is going to be the first coach to get fired? I got all my money on Dennis Allen. Well, I think personally, Mike McCarthy is on the hottest seat in the NFL. I think they've given him an opportunity, one more chance, as my boy Biggie would say. Uh, but I think if you see Dallas struggle, and especially if you see Dallas struggle early, I can see them pulling the plug on my man real quick. I could. So, yeah, Mike McCarthy to me. Justin says, I think all Falcon fans can't be mad at any of the three defense ends at number 8. In my opinion, you can't be, but you know how we are, man. We all have our favorites and things of that nature. And I'm not even trying to tell you that Dallas Turner is the end all be all, but I am saying it probably just makes sense. I'm not going to be upset if Latu ends up in that position. Even if a dream happened, if Joe Alt happened to be available at number 8 and slip down, I think the Falcons would be foolish to uh, pass on him. He's somebody that a lot of folks are thinking could be one of those 10-year starters on the offensive line. That's somebody I could absolutely get into. WCG says, I can't see a trade down because some of the teams picking behind the Falcons don't have a second round pick. So I am telling them it will cost you your first next year and a third to trade down. That's a good point. You start talking about people like Denver that don't have any picks as well. I hear you. Winston says you sign up for a contract if you play. I'm sorry, you sign up for a contact if you're playing football. I'd rather a cornerback turn defense to offense more than making a big hit. It's the Grimes versus Dante Robinson question. I'm assuming that's what you're talking about. Grimes is better because of the turnovers. And again, that's a point of view. So I respect that, but I also disagree. I think uh I, I I can understand what you're saying, but it was also a very, very different game before Dion came along, and the hits were starting to get outlawed, and the contact was starting to get called a lot more. This is not saying Deion Sanders is not one of the greats. He's absolutely one of the greats. Uh, Matter of fact, I'll put it this way, because of his special team prowess, I would be closer to putting him to a top 10 overall than I would a top 10 defensive player. If that makes sense, think about it. Play it out what I just said. I just think there are defensive players in my mind that were just really, really good. And when you say all time, it doesn't stop at 1990. It doesn't stop at 1985. Doesn't stop at 1970. All time is thrown out way too casually to me. Barbara says number 8, Quinion Mitchell. They still haven't signed AJ yet or Jarrett versus at number 8. Yeah, AJ signing, I think, is gonna happen. I think they just might be waiting to see how the rest of this stuff plays out. Now, y'all remember AJ has a really big cap number at $12 million. Don't be surprised this summer if you see them sign him to that extension and be able to spread that money down. AJ's not going anywhere, and AJ's contract will help us save quite a bit. The Falcons are going to do something with the salary prior to signing the rookies because they don't have enough money as it stands now to sign the rookies. So they have to do some maneuvering. And part of that, I think, is going to be AJ. And I think you'll probably get some reconstruction in a couple of these contracts. Maybe Matthews, maybe Grady, maybe Jesse Bates. You'll see some of that. Dondre says, do you think got his style from Sheila E? Dude, I'm trying to understand what you're saying. Yeah, write that out again for me, Dondre. I know you're not saying, do you think he got his style from Sheila E? But I just want to make sure I'm saying it right. CW says, man, Prince music can fit in most people's playlist. Absolutely. Barbara says, our band in high school used to play When Doves Cry all the time by Prince, but favorite is Raspberry Beret. Raspberry Beret was good. We actually, we played When Doves Cry, but I'm trying to remember in the marching band. We were in marching band when Purple Rain came out, and I'm trying to remember. I know we did Doves Cry. It seemed like we did something else. But I don't know. Raspberry Beret is actually a really good. That was an underrated album too. Around the World in a Day. That's pretty good. My brother Philip is in here. What's up, Philip? He says, in my opinion, the only risk we take at number 8 is Latu because of an injury from years ago. But Turner versus Latu in that order, and we can't go wrong. And I hear you. I know a lot of people are really scared about those injuries, but it's football, man. But injuries are going to happen. They really are. So, but I understand. I understand the caution. If he's the last 2 years, he's been really good, and I don't know, but I understand the concern. Travis is here. What's up, Travis? How you doing, brother? He says, I like Latu at number 8, long, athletic, with a good motor, and his favorite Prince song will forever be "Baby I'm a Star." If you ever see, go online and look at Prince doing that. I think that was the Syracuse, New York concert, and check out his version of "Baby I'm a Star." Good stuff. Good stuff. C Double says, like this content, some great stuff here. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Again, if y'all coming into Uncle Steve's Lounge, we appreciate you. Thank you for joining us on the Sunday Chill. We're just talking 3 again. We reset one more time. 3 questions we're asking. Falcons pick at number 8. Number 2, we're asking Deion Sanders, top 10 defensive player of all time. Is that true? And number 3, in honor of the anniversary of Prince's untimely death, we were asking for his favorite songs and moments of all time. Jamal D has said, are we naming favorite Prince songs? Yes, we are. Mine is probably I Will Die For You. A lot of folks like that song from Purple Rain. A lot of people like I Will Die For You. That's a good one. He said, only if you want me to. I know what you're talking about. I got you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I appreciate it. Antonio says, my favorite Prince song is Pop. Ooh, jeez. Man, Pop Life. Fun fact, the song was about Morris Day. He hit him hard with the line, what you putting in your nose? Is that where all your money goes? I believe it wholeheartedly. Pop Life is, underrated. Probably one of my top 5 all-time Prince songs. Pop Life was just that backbeat. Pop Life. Love it. Love it. Love it. That's one of mine too, man. Jamal says, prime time is definitely top 10 to me. In my opinion, you could say he is your positionless football GOAT, and it's not blasphemy. It is, but I want to make sure from the question, strictly defensively, because I think that's when we all get into it. Soon as Deion's names come up, and you say he did special teams, he did this. But from a just defensive standpoint, he probably still is in the conversation for top 10, no doubt. But I'm just saying it's not. He's not somebody that soon as you say top 10 all time defense, absolutely. I think I just have to think about it for a little bit, and I can be talked into it. Absolutely, can be talked into it. So Barbara says, no, Deion is not top 10 defense of all time, but top 20 for sure. Fair. Fair point. And I know if Barbara, as she said, in marching band back when Raspberry Beret came out, so she's probably closer to my age, she can remember a lot of great defensive players that folks wasn't on Sunday Ticket. And I know Deion was at the very beginning of that, but it wasn't on TV all the time. TV games are blacked out. You're not seeing all the highlights and all the stuff. You didn't get to see Pittsburgh every week, Dallas every week. You didn't get to see Mean Joe Green play all the time. You didn't get to see Lester Hayes every week. You didn't get to see Dick Butkus play every week. You got to see Deion a lot. And that's not his fault. I'm just saying, but we are believers in what we see all the time. And the highlights, man, if we had highlights from back then, some of y'all would be crazy. Y'all would be amazed. False start in the house. What's going on, my brother? Good to see you, and thank you for jumping on in here. You taking Reeves over Prime. Talking about Dan Reeves? No. No, I wouldn't. Philip says, what draft pick from last season are you excited to see this upcoming season? It's Hitman for me. Yeah, look, Helms is in a really good spot right now. Richie Grant has a big $3 million salary for the Falcons right now. I'm not sure if they want to carry that thing over. So this is an absolute good time for them to start thinking about whether they want to make a move and go somewhere else with that. It wouldn't shock me if they did. But as far as last year, I want to see more of Bijan. I want to see more of Bijan on a regular basis. I think it was just a really inconsistent thing that Arthur Smith was doing. I don't know whether Bijan was in the doghouse. I can't tell you what it was, but I would like to see a lot more of Bijan. If you spent the number 8 pick for a running back in today's game, you got to put him out there more than 10, 15 times a game. I think you got to make him work and make him like an option. So he's somebody that I really look forward to seeing. Corliss, what's going on, brother? Good to see you. He said, just stopping through and throwing up my hand. Y'all have a great evening, brother. We always appreciate you joining us, man. Thank you so much. My other brother in the house, Joseph Evans. How you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Good to see you. Okay, Dondre cleans it up. He said, do you think Prince got his style from Sheila E? No. No, I don't think I think Sheila got his. No, no. I think it's more obvious that Sheila got her inspiration from him. C Double says, oh man, got me in my feels when Raspberry Beret. Yep. Also when Doves Cry. Man, I'm gonna listen to some Prince tonight. I'm surprised y'all haven't heard a lot of it anyway. You've been hearing people talk about him already. Barbara says, word is Penix at 8. No, not with $100 million to Cousins. Shaking my head. Here's the thing, Barbara. If we got to pick number 32 and Penix isn't taken, I would absolutely give up that third-round pick, one of the 2 third-round picks, and go up and get my future quarterback at number 33. first pick in the second round if they would bite. But I really don't think he's going to last that long. I think in a world where quarterbacks can make or break a team, if you see something that you think has real good talent, I think you're going to go get it. I don't think Penix will be there, but if in a world where he could be there at 33, first pick of the second round, I'd jump on it. JJ the Great says, "Let's Go Crazy" is my favorite song from Purple Rain. Love Let's Go Crazy, especially the long version. Uh, Travis says, "I don't think Deion is an all-time top 10 defensive player, but he's not far from it, between 11 and 15. That's really my thought. I'm right there with you, Travis. I'm right there. I think he's somewhere in that category. Brother Joseph says, "International Lover." Man, I remember when that song came out, everybody tried to do that song at talent shows and everything. That was like the go-to song, International Lover, man. That was a really good one. JJ the Great says, "Oh, Pop Life is one of my favorite Prince songs too." Another vote for Pop Life. That one Falcon fan says, "Thoughts on drafting Turner and then trading back up to 23 to draft Penix. Also, Purple Rain and Little Red Corvette." I'm surprised I hadn't heard Little Red Corvette. That was the one that kind of reintroduced everybody, especially on the overall music scene, to Prince, the Little Red Corvette thing. Turner, yes, traded up into the back up into the and get 2 first rounders. I don't know about that. I think I would, if he doesn't go by 23, I'd take my chance. I don't think, because anything you're going to trade up to 23 is going to be a future number one, and I think I would just wait. If Penix isn't there, uh, if he isn't there by the beginning of the second round, it wasn't meant to be. So Jamal says, "Also, I'm trading down, taking Latu or Verse." A lot of people on Verse, man. A lot of people like Verse. Winston says, "If someone asks you to name your starting lineup for defense all time," Jesus, you're gonna put me on the spot like that. Um, Defense, whew, that's pretty tough, man. You know what, Winston, I would want to do my homework on that particular subject, and I think that could be a future show. Maybe I can join the eye test and do that. But for the same reason that I couldn't immediately say Deion Sanders is top 10, is the same reason why I couldn't immediately answer your it's a very good question. So if y'all want to hook up and do that show, we can, you know. So yeah, we could do that. Jamal's in the house. Jamal, I see you, man. I'm sorry I didn't see this.
Appreciate when you send Uncle Steve a super chat, super chat, super chat.
Okay. I was trying to do Purple Rain, y'all. I don't know, did it work or not?
Super chat, super chat.
I see you in there, man. He said he meant Darrell Revis. Okay. Or Prime. My bad, brother. My bad. And I see Tiny trying to help me out on that. Thank y'all. I got you. Ooh. Deion did it longer and more consistent. I think a lot of the Atlanta years, unfortunately, are the lost years as far as the NFL is concerned. But for Deion, people didn't pay attention as much until he got traded to Frisco and Dallas. He was the same talent here in Atlanta, but as I said before, and for some of you that remember in the late 80s, in the early 90s, yeah, they were still blacking out games. You couldn't see Deion every week. So it was out of sight, out of mind. By the time he got to San Francisco or Dallas, everybody got to see how great Deion was. Everybody got to see the talent. So, in fairness, I do believe I'd have to give the nod to Deion on that one. Revis was really, really good as well, but I'll give it to uh, Prime on that one. Barbara said, "Yes, I'm around your age, and these youngsters don't know all the defenses we saw." Absolutely, and it's not a knock because we were in that position one time too. We were in those positions where when we were in the 80s and 90s and we were trying to tell you, man, there's nobody going to be ever better than Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, which I don't think anybody's ever better than Magic. But there are people that are going to tell us that, how dare you say that when I was a fan of Oscar Robertson? Fast forward to today, where there are people that say LeBron James is the greatest that ever played. And then you'll have us coming back and say, how dare you with Michael Jordan played during our era. So it's one of those generational things that we'll probably never win, but it's always fun to talk about. But I agree with you wholeheartedly because they don't know a lot of the defenses we saw. I agree. Ball Start says, my list goes Ed Reed, Troy Polamalu, AD, Aaron Donald, LT Lawrence Taylor, Ray Lewis, Reggie White, Dwight Freeney, Ronnie Lott, Revis, Miles Garrett. These guys could play in any era. I'd have to check that Dwight Freeney, as great as he was during this certain era, man, there were a lot of nice edge rushers that we are really overlooking. Barbara say, I still say move Troy over to the edge. We need all the help we can get to the quarterback. I think he would be great on the edge, and he's fast too. I think I would do the same thing. I like that. Matt Town Dirty's in the house. What's up, Matt Town? My brother, how you feeling today? Thank you for joining us in Uncle Steve's Lounge. Winston says, personally, I want Latu at number 8, but I think the pick will be Turner. Turner has the coverage experience, but Latu had more interceptions last year. I hear you. That could be true, too. That could be true. Got another content creator in the house. Get this queued up.
I want to thank you all for listening and for your super chat. Super chat.
Okay, I tried.
Thank you.
I tried to think Alphabet Street. I was trying. Big Low Country Sports. Y'all check out my brother on his YouTube channel, man, doing some great things. And the originator creator of the Rise Up Content Creators project we had yesterday. Big shout out to my brother. He said, Uncle Steve still getting naked for Dallas Turner. Hey, listen, I'm at a point now where I think probably before you came on that I'm mocked out, Low. I've heard every measurable. I've heard all the analysis. I've heard it all. And I think I'm at a point where I think you just take the probably the more obvious pick for us. And for me, I think that's Dallas Turner at that point. Now, I'm not going to lose my mind if we pick anyone else. Almost kind of like last year. Everyone thought we were going to go Jalen. What's my buddy's name? Jalen Carter. Everyone thought we were going to do that. We got Bijan. Probably not my first choice, but I'm not mad at it. So that's where I am as far as that's concerned. So I hear you, brother, but I ain't quite getting naked. I got some drawers on. So I'm not. I'm going to cover up a little bit. I'm going to cover up a little bit. Let's get in. Jamal says, we'll never understand what Arthur Smith was doing when he was clearly too smart for us. Sometimes, Jamal, when you think you're the smartest in the room, you outsmart yourself. I think that's what the case was with Arthur Smith. I think Arthur Smith is one of those I'm so clever that I outsmart myself. And you probably know these people. These people are, I know everything and I want to tell you I know everything, but when you execute, it's not the smartest decision in the world. I think that was Arthur Smith's tenure in Atlanta. That's why he was so brustly with reporters and the media. That's why he couldn't stand to be probably second guessed. He might be a smart guy, but maybe it didn't translate with the rest of the fellas to me. I that's my opinion. JJ says, just thinking about Arthur Smith makes my brain hurt. Dude had no idea what he was doing. Man, do y'all know we have got to defeat Pittsburgh this year? When they come into this place, we've got to destroy Pittsburgh. I'm almost at a point where no, I can't even say the Saints because I want a Saints win is more important to me. But I'll say it rises up over Dallas this year. Normally, I'm like beat Dallas, beat Dallas. We have got to beat anybody in our division, and the next team we got to destroy this year is Pittsburgh, just to show Arthur Smith that yeah, bruh, we are a real team. You've got to defeat Arthur Smith this year. Barbara says Penix be home in top 25. I think too many teams needing quarterbacks. I agree with you. I don't think she said be gone. Got it. He'll be gone by 25. Yeah, I believe so too. Matter of fact, Barbara, I'll go one step further. I think he'll be gone in the top probably 17 or 18. Too many needy teams in between there. Man, if he falls down to Minnesota, oh, they getting him in a heartbeat. Denver? And Denver does Denver have a top? I don't even think Denver does Denver. I think Denver has one. Yeah, they got one of no. They gave up their picks, right? Hold on one second. I'm sorry, y'all. I hate when I have to do this in the middle of thing. Denver picks, and I know some of y'all probably already looked it up. Denver picks number number 12. So if they pick number 12, Penix won't get past them. So I'm looking at the teams past us that Penix probably won't get past. Okay, 9 is the Bears, 10 is the Jets. The Jets could fool us all and get him. They could. The Vikings, he doesn't get past the Vikings. He doesn't get past Denver, and he may not get past the Raiders. I just don't see them doing. I just don't see that happening. David says, and I can listen to Adore all day. That's another go. Sign of the Times album from Prince might have been his greatest album. I know a lot of people say Purple Rain because it kind of it was the one that pushed him over the edge. I could see 1999. Sign of the Times, man. Yeah, go back and listen to that album, start to finish. That's a really good album. Really good album. Cam is in the house. What's going on, Cam? Y'all make sure y'all check Cam out, man. Cam's on the Birdcage on Thursdays with our brother Ryan and K-Dub and Graybeard doing their things on Thursday. Y'all make sure y'all check them out over in the Birdcage. They've been having guests plenty lately. He said, what's going on, Blessings to you and your family. Looks like the Raiders are going to Raider, huh? Yeah, man, look. The Raiders... Here's a news flash, and I hate putting it down because I actually like Antonio Pierce. The Raiders are going to be 6-11 this year. Raiders are going to be 6-11. Mark it down. Record this that I'm telling you. The Raiders are going to be 6-11. I just people got happy because they beat Kansas City. And they think they won the Super Bowl. Y'all make sure y'all mark it down for me. Jamal loving the super chats, man. I'm trying my best, man. Anything I can do better than Big Low I'm trying to do it. You be on point with this stuff, man. Here is in the house, man. What's going on, Henry? Happy Sunday, Uncle Steve and Falcon fan. Hope you have a pleasant weekend. That goes right back to you, my friend. Thank you. Island Mike is in the house. What is going on, brother? Thank you for always being on here. We appreciate you, sir. Thank you much. Barbara says Michael Jordan, the best ever. I hear you. I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you what. I have no argument with anybody that says Michael Jordan is the best player to ever do it. But I will always stay with my Magic Johnson. I just think Magic Johnson, and if you go back and look, um, Magic Johnson was a monster. And I think it's people don't give enough credit to Larry Bird. I always see these top 10 lists. Now I know it'll make people mad. When I see Kobe Bryant number 2, number 3, and I just laugh because I just say we're such a, a society of what just happened. Almost kind of the thing with the Caitlin Clark thing. And as much as, don't get me wrong, Caitlin Clark has absolutely, from a generational standpoint, has changed the game. And even some of the older folks who played in the WNBA are gonna owe her some thanks because now they're relevant again because people are watching her. So don't get me wrong. But Magic Johnson, what him and Larry Bird did in the 80s, from the time they came into the league and what they did to stir up the interest, paved the way for the Michael Jordans, the LeBron James, and folks like that. So I get it, but man, Magic, Magic is woo, that's my guy. David says his list is Taylor, White, Green, Lambert, Jones, Lott, Prime, Lewis, Palomalu, and Butkus. That's a good list. That's a good list. And Tavius, what is going on, my friend? Thank you for joining us as always, brother. Good to see you in the house. Also, Big John Higgins is here. What's up, John? How you feeling, man? Said just coming in. What's on tap for the day? As you can probably tell by now, we got the number 8 pick for the Atlanta Falcons. Who we going to take at number 8? Is Deion Sanders a top 10 defensive player of all time? And last but not least, to honor the anniversary of the passing of Prince, your favorite Prince song or moment? Jamal D says, "Oh yeah, the Steelers' offense needs 0 points on us." Absolutely, absolutely. And appreciate you, Winston. I knew one of my buddies would be there to help me out with some of these stats, man. Appreciate you. Matt Town says, I understand the concept, but the first 3 rounds should be for who can start now. Rattler in the later rounds. Yeah, I think Rattler will be there, Matt Town. For people that's thinking Rattler, yeah, Rattler will be there in the 4th round, maybe even the 5th round. Rattler will be there. I think Rattler, anybody past the big 3, the iffy 2 guys right now are McCarthy and Penix. But everybody else, no one's gonna get picked before at least the 3rd round. Nobody is. Coach's Corner in the house. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for why, ooh, Desmond. This one last hit from my brother. I just had to go old school. Coach's Corner says, so everyone's going to leave my real life cousin off their list. The disrespect, Charles Haley should be in everyone's top 10 defensive list that's over 35. Yeah, and see, so this is a perfect example of why, Dre, this is a perfect example why I say we can't just automatically throw Deion in there just because it was a Deion. You know, the what you see on TV from Deion. Charles Haley was the first to win 5 Super Bowls, and it wasn't because he was somebody that happened to be on the sidelines. Charles Haley was wrecking havoc on offenses. So for those of you who don't believe that, he's absolutely right. Charles Haley should be on a lot of those lists on there. Da-da-da-da-da. Uh, Travis Heath, what's up, man? Says huge talks about the Falcons trading back if JJ falls to number 8. I can see that. I can see that. I absolutely can. No problem. Turner or Verse for me if they are both elite. Winston says Braun is the GOAT. Nah, Winston wet behind the ears, so I don't expect you to understand. He a young whippersnapper. So I don't Barbara says Magic, best point guard ever, and he was my favorite player of all time. Bird, best white man to play basketball. Best shooting guard ever, Steph. I can agree with every last one of those that you're saying. The aforementioned Ryan, the historian, is here from the Bird Cage. Y'all, again, make sure y'all check out the Bird Cage on Thursdays at 8 o'clock. He has his band of merry men doing their thing on their channel. It has some fire interviews over the last couple of weeks, including the most winningest coach in Atlanta Falcons history, Mike Smith. Y'all go back and look at some of his stuff and check that out. What's going on, my friend? Jamal says NBA GOAT has 4 acceptable answers to me. Braun, MJ, Kareem, Magic. I can deal with that. I can deal with that. Because if I hear Kobe in the top 5 of anybody's list one more time, I'm just gonna lose my mind. And then as you know, when people pass away, we make them more legendary than they are. I'm not telling you Kobe isn't Hall of Fame, whatever. I get that. But Kobe, you know who Kobe was? And I make this comparison all the time. Kobe was Dominique Wilkins that won NBA titles. Kobe shot all the time. Not saying he wasn't a decent defensive player too, but Kobe is shoot 20, 30 times a game. You shoot 20, 30 times a game and you're competent, you're going to have as many points as he did. JJ the Great says LeBron is the GOAT for me. I hear you. I hear y'all. I hear y'all. I'm not going to knock it. I'm not going to knock you. That LeBron is a beast. And LeBron yesterday just almost when you start thinking about LeBron doing it at 39, he was arguably the third best player on the court yesterday. You shouldn't be saying that about 39-year-old men. But behind Jokic and AD yesterday, LeBron was all that. Ontavia says, I know who knows the answer to is MJ the best, is the creator of The Simpsons. Hey, man, look, you know good and well. I have no argument with people saying MJ or LeBron is the best. I have no problem with that. Tidy says Magic Johnson probably the most slept on NBA player in history, probably because of why his career ended early. Yeah, that's true. 12 NBA seasons, 9 finals appearances, 5 NBA titles. And look at those stats again, folks. And again, he was taken out at a time where he probably could have played 2 or 3 more years. The things you didn't know about HIV at the time when we found out about what happened with him in the early 90s. A lot of people were scared of things like that, but he's right. Look at the stats. They don't lie. 12 NBA seasons, 9 finals appearances, and 5 NBA titles. And you know. Pamela Johnson in the house. How you doing, ma'am? Good to see you. Thank you for joining us on Uncle Steve's Lounge. Long time no see. Thank you for coming on in here. Atlanta Bird Game says, with that said, Michael Jordan is the GOAT to me. His impact on and off the court. No argument with Michael Jordan. It's almost like the list one of the guys said earlier. I have no problem with Michael Jordan. I have no problem with LeBron James. being named the GOAT, I just don't think the list would stop there. I think when you start looking at um what Magic Johnson did, and again, those legendary battles with Larry Bird that brought attention to the NBA, almost like Larry Bird is doing for the NBA what Caitlin Clark is doing for the WNBA. You could argue that, and it's true. Ryan says one of the most underrated ball players of all time is three-time MVP and Moses Malone. Yes, Big Mo was a bad boy. By the time he got to Atlanta, he was a shell of himself, but he was still solid. But yeah, that Philadelphia 76er team, back the one that won the championship, that was a bad team. That bad in really, really good team. Matt Town Dirty says number 8 verse. Kelvin is in the house. What's going on, Kelvin? Thank you for joining us. Trying to get you in here. Prince song, probably nothing compares to you. And people sleep on that song because I know a lot of people remember the Sinead O'Connor version. That song first appeared on the album with the group The Family. Y'all remember Screams of Passion, High Passion? It was actually on that particular album first. And Prince wrote that song and didn't release his live version until he did his little 3 CD set with the hits, side 1 and side 2. Ryan says finals MVP Moses Malone to the second part of my answer. Yeah, that's solid. David says, I've seen mocks where Denver takes Rattler at the end of the second round. If Denver takes him in the second round, God bless him. God bless him. That's going to be a major pull. Pamela says Raspberry Beret. That's another vote for that. Miss Pam says Raspberry Beret is my favorite Prince song. I hear you. I hear you. That was a good one. Like I said, that album was good because that was the same album Pop Life was on. So I hear you loud and clear. That was a really good one. Ryan says Charles Haley was a beast. He was. People just don't know. Kelvin says, I don't know. Think Knicks might be a surprise pick in the early second round. He could be. He could be. Yeah, and I left him out, Kelvin. I kind of forgot about him. Ryan says his favorite Prince song is The Beautiful Ones. Can't go wrong with that. That's a third vote, I think, for The Beautiful Ones. And for those of you wondering why we're talking about Prince songs today, Prince died 8 years ago today. That's why we're naming some of his favorite songs if you were coming in. So please put yours in there. Henry says, do you think the Falcons would trade down for more picks? There was talk of trading with Dallas. Here's the thing, Henry, I do feel like that's on the table, but I think they're if you're gonna tell me that Dallas Turner or Quinyon Mitchell is not your guy, then you go ahead and trade back. But I don't know why they wouldn't have done that by now. Maybe they'll do a draft day trade. Maybe they'll wait until the moment. But I wouldn't mind. But I would love to see what the haul is coming back. Yeah, Dallas. I don't even know if I want to make deals with Dallas or not. Not at all. Oh, super chat in the house. Another one coming in. Let's see what we got here. What we got on this one?
And they say why, Uncle Steve will read your comment. Why? Because I like it that way.
Another beautiful person in Michael Jackson singing his thing. JJ, thank you so much, my friend. I appreciate the support and thank you for the super chat. He says, oh, I got an off-topic basketball question. No problem at all. You talk about anything here. Some people have started putting Steph Curry in or near top 10 all-time NBA players. How do you feel about that as an old head? Respect. I think it's fair. And listen, when they won the fourth one a couple of years ago, The only thing he was missing on his resume was that finals MVP. But you figure he was a major part of 4 championships. I know people are gonna say Durant was the spearhead of 2 of those finals, and that would be fair. But you don't Steph Curry, when you start talking about people that changed the game in the last 30 years, 3 names that come right to the forefront when I think changed the game: Michael Jordan, Shaquille O'Neal, and Steph Curry. And the latter 2, I say because they changed the way people played. When you start thinking about Shaq, they literally changed the rule because Shaq was dominating so much in the middle. And Steph Curry got it to where 7'2" guys are out on the perimeter shooting threes. Nobody would even think about that kind of logic if Steph wasn't so legendary with that. What am I gonna put him in the top 10 now? Probably not. He is almost like that Deion category where you say he might be on the outside looking in, but I don't know, y'all. I can't do it. I can't do it. I think he's like 11, 12. He's got to get to the point guard conversation. And I just said if I told y'all Magic is my favorite of all time, you know he's not getting number 1. So yeah. Henry's no, sorry. I think I went to that one already. Let's go here. Alan Mike says, I love Latu. We love all injured players, Penix, Cousins, and that cat from the Bears we just got talking about Eddie Goldman. Oh man, that's horrible. Uh John says, well, for me, we need 2 pass rushers with the first 2 picks. And as for Prince, early 70s Prince and 80s Prince. If you are a Prince head, go back and check out the For You album. Soft and Wet is one of the best songs Prince ever put out. Wasn't a huge, huge, huge hit, but definitely one of the best songs he's had. And the Dirty Mind album. Um, the Dirty Mind album from start to finish is probably one of my top 2 or 3 albums of all time. That's a really good one. Winston says Arizona and New York has trying to put you on here. I don't know why it's not showing. But trust me, I'm reading it. He said Arizona and New York had the pivot points in the draft. Their picks or trades will dictate the draft. I can agree with that. Titus says Kobe 10 levels above Neek. Oh no, listen to what I'm saying. I'm not telling you they are the same. In my opinion, Dominique was a volume shooter. Kobe is a volume shooter. Kobe's overall talent to Dominique. I probably should have clarified as far as offenses is concerned. Yeah, Dominique never played defense in his life, I don't think, in my opinion. So let me make sure I clarify that. What I was saying. Maybe from an offensive standpoint, he shot as much as Kobe did to me. Alan Mike said, representing for the white guys, he said, hey, let's not forget Larry Bird. I don't blame him. Not Larry, I'm going to tell y'all. Larry is one person that gets disrespected on these top 10 lists. When people bring out those top 10 lists on, yeah, absolutely. Ryan says, quietly, Tim Duncan was a guy that would destroy competition with a simple game of fundamentals and should be in the GOAT conversation, 5 championships. He will. And unfortunately, Ryan, and you probably know from this generation, if you don't have, it's unfair. If you don't have a flash or pizzazz or a stick or something like that, unfortunately, you're probably going to get ignored. Tim Duncan, without a doubt, is one of the best power forwards to ever play the game. Without a doubt. Miss Pamela says, my pick is Latu. Yeah, I can go with that. Miss Pam, I listen, I really feel like Latu is that guy that Have y'all seen him play? Go watch him play. I know everyone wants to talk about the injuries from 2 years ago. I get it. It's fair. But in the game of football, I think you just have to, folks, the strongest, mightiest, never been hurt before football player in high school, college can come into pros in the first game and hopefully not, but tear their ACL or injure their shoulder or rip their pec. I think it's unfair to put that label. So, like Pamela is saying, I think this is one of those guys that, man, if we get him, don't be surprised. I think he'd be really good. Ryan says Magic is the greatest point guard, and Zeke and Oscar Robinson, another underrated person. Isaiah Thomas. Everybody, I think after the last dance, you had a lot of folks that's like, oh, I hate that Zeke for what he did to Michael. But I don't know, you had a lot of people on the other side too. But Isaiah Thomas was a bad boy, literally and figuratively, when he played. Mike says people sleeping on the rhythm song. Thank you, brother. Barbara says the best small basketball player, Allen Iverson. I can live with that. Do you see that little statue they gave him in Philadelphia? I was like, dude, y'all need a ceremony for that? Y'all need to put something bigger up there for that man. Pamela says, I have a quick question. Who is your late round GM for our Atlanta Falcons? The guy that I was looking for, Pam, and everybody keeps talking about quarterbacks, and we let's talk about, I want to say, project quarterbacks. Ryan will probably back me up on this. My man from Florida A&M, Musa. If somebody gives him an opportunity on a team, like a 6th round, a 7th round pick, it's probably not gonna happen. But Musa was a bad boy. Go check out his highlights at Florida A&M this year. Aside of the Celebration Bowl, he actually is pretty solid. He has the measurables. He's a big dude. And if you get the right coach, Zach Robinson, you don't have to rush him. You can sit him behind Kurt and let him learn. You could get some rewards on that. So that's somebody that I'm looking at. Musa out of Florida State, not Florida State, Florida A&M, our quarterback. Go check him out. Go look at his tape for me. He's a good dude. Dexter says, I respect LeBron, but he is not that guy. Michael Jordan best to play the game. I hate to upset the fan base. We are taking a wide receiver first round. I would rather trade back. And again, Dexter, you might be right. We might end up trading back. We just might. I would have no problem doing that. None. Mike said his favorite Prince song is Little Red Corvette. That's a good one. That's one of the big ones. David says, I personally like Prince's remake of Bonnie Raitt's I Can't Make You Love Me. I love that. I love his version of that song. I love his version, even though I love Bonnie's more. Pamela says, Manic Monday, sung by the Bangles, wrote by Prince, is one of my favorite songs too. And Pamela, there's a version of that online. If you go, it was, I think, one of the last catalogs that came back. Prince, his studio version. Awesome. I love what the Bangles did to it, because it sounds like that song was probably written for, I say, a high register voice, but Susanna Hoffs for the Bengals did a great job with that. That's a really good one. Ryan says we can also snag a center, Zach Robinson, out of West Virginia, who is very similar to Jason Kelsey and Alex Mack. He's intelligent and has a house of pancakes with the physicality he brings to the line. When we need another center. We definitely need another center. Henry says LeBron was in Kobe, rest his soul, shadow during Kobe's last half of his career and has to share the spotlight with Steph. To me, LeBron has no chance of being the GOAT. It's a fair assessment because he was kind of in Kobe's shadow. I think mainstream media wants LeBron to be that guy more than probably the casual fan does. I- Everybody is all on LeBron, and it's sometimes it's nauseating, but I get it. He's really, really, really good. My brother Jack, one time for the fan in the house. What's going on? Rise up. But Jack, let me tell you something about him, man. Jack had the nerve. He had a video with the hashtag Rise Up content creators. He had the nerve to gloat in front of everybody on a video where he's on the beach chilling with his drink and just like rubbing it in everybody's face. Like, dude, what are you, how are you gonna do that to us? But if I was in his shoes, I'd do it too. Y'all make sure y'all check out One Time for the Fan, man. Jack be putting it down over there, man. I know Terry's in there, Bodie's over there doing their thing, man. Y'all make sure y'all give them some love over there on One Time for the Fan, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, brother. Philip says a lot of people say MJ is the GOAT because he has 6 rings. But there's this one guy named Bill Russell that has 11, and most of all those rings came before the 3-point line. All of that is true. I'm going to tell you the reason why I usually hesitate when I start talking about people like Bill Russell, because I honestly didn't see. And I've seen tapes, I've seen videos, and probably the same videos that everyone does. I also have to remind people when Bill Russell played, there were a lot less NBA teams. And that's not Bill Russell's fault that is set up like that, but it's true. Uh, does that take away from the greatness? Absolutely not, because he used to destroy Wilt Chamberlain when they played head to head. So I get it. So I'm not knocking that, but I'm very cautious about talking about. I'll mention them, but I can't give a full assessment. I feel comfortable talking about Dick Buckers because I saw him at the end. I feel comfortable talking about Deacon Jones because I saw him when I first started being a fan. I can feel good about talking about the Ronnie Lotts, the Too Tall Jones, any Pittsburgh team, the Raiders teams with Kenny Stabler, the Dallas teams with Staubach, the Denver teams with Elway, the Denver teams with Craig Morton, the Atlanta teams with Bartkowski. Those teams that I remember seeing and I watched on TV or went to the game at Fulton County Stadium. I tell everybody I saw the first game Earl Campbell ever played in Fulton County Stadium. Took a swing pass, ran for 80 yards. Thank goodness they lost the game. But first play, it was the second play of the drive. They threw the ball out, swing pass. He ran for 80 yards and scored a touchdown. So I talk about those players and stuff that I've seen. The Bill Russell thing is always going to be a tough call for me because I really didn't see him. But for folks who are a step or two older than me that did see them, more power to them. It's a fair count. You can't just dismiss 11 rings. Henry says Steph revolutionized the perimeter trend in the NBA. LeBron hasn't done any of that. Hasn't done anything that stands out. That's the one thing I will say about that. It is kind of hard to say. LeBron is just a really great overall player, awesome overall player. It is a difference when a player revolutionizes the game. That's why I say Steph and Shaq will always have points of references for me as people who made you change the way you played the game. That makes a difference. It makes a difference to me. Jack says, concerned about Latu, last player with his injury at linebacker only played 4 or 5 years and retired. Yeah. Yeah. I understand. It makes sense. And it's okay to be cautious over injuries. Each injury is different. It was some of the same thing we thought about Frank Gore when he came in. A lot of people was like, "Oh, don't take a chance on him. Oh, don't." and Frank Gore went on to be the second all-time leading rusher in the NFL. Not saying every situation ends up like that, but I just always, give some of these folks a chance and see what happens. Now again, my pick I'm still saying is Dallas Turner, but I'm not going to be angry if Latu gets picked. I won't be. Backtown Dirty says Prince Doobie Baby bedroom scene uh got him banned from our neck of the woods back in the day. Yes, in Columbus, Georgia, where they were arresting folks for doing lewd acts on stage. They got him, they got Bobby Brown. Uh Back in the day, they didn't play that, man. They didn't play that. And I bet you he's probably laughing in heaven now, looking down at some of these concerts and stuff that you see now, and some of the things they do on stage that they were getting arrested for is crazy. Alan Mike says my favorite small basketball player is Spud Webb. I can dig it. I can dig it. Henry says Larry Bird, Kobe Bryant, and especially Tim Duncan will always be overlooked. Duncan's fundamentals were severely overlooked. That's that. Ask Shaq. Shaq will tell you all the time. They'll tell you all the time. Uh, Ryan says all the statues they have for the 76ers are small like that. They keep those statues in practice. Because okay, all right, that makes sense then. I hear you. Juan is in the house. What's up, Juan? Good to see you in here, man. Thank you for joining us, brother. Thank you. Tidy says, since we are doing all-time great, Steve, y'all notice listen, we can start one place and end the other place. As long as we having good conversation, y'all keep it rolling, man. We're not gonna ever pigeonhole ourselves into one thing. So I appreciate everyone going in different directions. I don't mind. We could talk about it. He said, since we're doing all-time great, Steve, your two best UGA running backs of all time. Wow. Oh, my bad. Minus the obvious Herschel Walker. Woo. Um. Mm, woo. That's a really good question. I've always thought Nick Chubb, to me, gets totally disrespected for what he was, and I know he got hurt as well. Um, Nick Chubb was a bad boy when he ran the ball. Um, I'm gonna go back just a little bit as far as the Georgia running back is concerned. Terrell Davis was actually a really good running back for us when he played, and he kind of didn't get the love. It didn't shock me what he did at Denver. None of that shocked me because he was that guy at Georgia. So you're asking me quick, and I know I'm probably missing some folks along the way, but those are the folks that are just sticking out in my head right now. I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna give an honorable mention to this guy. Ran angry all the time. No Sean Moreno. No, and I know he didn't stay in the league long, but no Sean Moreno, man. That was a bad boy. It just seemed like you would never stop him on the first tackle. Ran real hard. I know he played for the Giants, I think, a little bit. But let Ryan says Jeremy Musa will be a dangerous quarterback. I'm with you on him. Also, Darius Rickards out of NC Central University. Yes, yes. I heard you talking about him the other day, and I'm surprised because I was gonna mention to you on one of your past ones about Musa, and you didn't bring him up. And I was saying to myself, I said, "Ooh, that's a good kid." But just to your point, if those guys just get the opportunities, you talk about it all the time on your show. If they get opportunities, it would be nice. Michael says, any word on the tampering charge? Not yet, Mike. I hope so. Hope we get something. No, hopefully, no news is good news. It's not like they can take the pick after. after we got the guys. Or I hope it's not one of those things where they try to get us next year. So no, but nothing yet. Travis says the same ones that say LeBron is the GOAT are the same ones that thought Ritter was gonna be a good quarterback. Wow. And y'all know what? I lied. I'm sorry.
I love Desmond.
I know I said I was getting rid of it. I can't do it. I Dottie says LeBron is great for business. He generates money, whether that be from his diehard fans or his diehard haters. Man, he will always be a priority in the media. And I akin that to a wrestler like Ric Flair. And I go there because more people know Ric Flair, I think. I know people talk about The Rock, but it's a little bit different. Ric Flair is that villain that's so good at being a villain that you like him. And I think LeBron, for a lot of folks, because when you make the finals in 8 straight years, or whatever, was it 8 straight years that he made the finals? People gonna get tired of you. And so you become the villain. So I akin him to a Ric Flair of basketball. That's a very good point as far as the media is concerned. Dexter says his favorite player to play the game was Kevin Garnett. What I think hurt LeBron being the GOAT. Mike made players better. LeBron team up with good players to make super teams. It's a super, super fair point. Because people will always say, well, Michael had Scotty and Michael had did the only players I can say the second go round, uh, Rodman came to Chicago, but Mike worked with those guys. They grew up together. It wasn't uh like the LeBron thing where they teamed up. That's what makes me have respect for what I think is about to end in Golden State because I just don't see them signing Clay to big money off of the last year or so. But what Golden State did, Mark Jackson was screwed. Mark Jackson had the best. He told everybody. I remember him saying it, and I said to myself, man, is he crazy? He said early on, Steph Curry is the best shooting person he's ever seen play basketball. He said it early, and we laughed, including me. And when him, Clay, and Draymond all grew up together and built that, they didn't. Now, people came, but they built it there. That's something LeBron can't say. You're absolutely right about that. I agree. And when he went back to Cleveland, he went back after Kyrie became Kyrie. He went back after they could bring Kevin Love in there. So, yeah, fair point. Fair point. Uh, Winston says Braun was a child when Kobe was in his prime. Then Braun took over the same as Kobe did with Jordan. Y'all got to stop moving the needle because Jordan wasn't the man when he came in, nor was Kobe. Here's the problem. But when Jordan came in, Jordan was the focus on his team, just like Braun was the focus on his team. You're saying he wasn't the man. Actually, Jordan was the man for Chicago when he came on that team. Kobe wasn't the guy on the Lakers because you had the most powerful player in the NBA on your team when Shaq came over there. So Kobe wasn't the man. Absolutely, he wasn't. Jordan was. LeBron was the guy when he got to Cleveland. Nobody was paying attention to the other guys on Cleveland. They were paying attention to LeBron. It's not a fair point in that case. Juan says LeBron is a fabricated coach who needs help from superstars, refs, and COVID to get rings. Dang, he went to the bubble championship. Wow. Wow. That's crazy. Ryan says in replying to Tidy Garrison Hurst, Nick Chubb, those are two good names. I can live with that. I can live with those. Those are good. Juan says Kawhi with Toronto, Dirk with Dallas. Yeah. Bill Russell with whoever he played with and got 11 rings. That was a good team. Those were all good teams. Antonio says LeBron revolutionized how you move off the court. Him opening doors for his homeboys to become millionaires is GOAT material to me. Hey, you know what? I laugh, but you're probably right. He made a lot of folks money off the court. So I can't be mad at you. Demetrius is in the house. What's up, brother? Thank you for joining us here in Uncle Steve's Lounge. Love it, love it, love it. JJ says most of the top 10 players had Hall of Fame teammates on championship teams. But again, JJ, there is going to be a difference. When Steph goes into the Hall of Fame and you say, well, he had Draymond, who will be a Hall of Famer. Well, he had Clay, who is borderline, but more than likely he probably will get in too. But they weren't Hall of Fame when they first started together. That's why I say with Jordan, once they drafted Pippen, Pippen wasn't a like lottery pick or anything like that when they brought him in. Like nobody was like, oh my good, Pippen coming, they getting ready to do something. No. They built that team. They worked together. They blossomed together. And they grew that there. So let's look at when you say top 10 players had Hall of Fame players. Well, let's see if they grew together. I give Kobe a little bit of credit in that sense. At least he matured on the team that Shaq was on. It's not like, I mean, he became a focal point of that team. He wasn't the focal point the first year the Lakers won that first championship in their three-peat. He wasn't the focal point. Shaq was. By the time the three-peat ended, Kobe was the man. Still don't think he was the man over Shaq, but he was still the man. MW franchise player in the house. What is going on, my friend? How you doing? Thanks for joining us in Uncle Steve's Lounge. We have just had a potpourri of questions in here to ask, and I'm trying to get it in here. JJ says Kobe and Shaq had each other, Magic and Kareem had each other, and James Worthy. MJ had Pippen and later on Rodman. Knocking Braun for playing with superstars is not fair. Again, I'm gonna say this: the Kobe Shaq thing, they drafted Kobe. Yeah, I see what you're saying about that a little bit, maybe. Magic and Kareem. Kareem was far on the wrong end of his career when he was with the Lakers. One of the reasons why the Lakers ended up getting Magic because they weren't that great the year before. And Worthy was drafted after Magic. So he, nobody knew the greatness at the time that Magic and Worthy were there. They knew they were really good college players. And the MJ Pippen thing, that's not fair at all. Both of them grew as teammates and became better together. Now, Rodman, that's fair. He was a free agent that came over. Kelvin says Chubb went to another level in the NFL. Yes, he did. Absolutely. I hope he is ready for camp this year. I know he took a pay cut this year. It kind of makes me wonder whether he's going to be ready at the beginning of the year. Matt Town says my favorite NBA all-time villain was Bill Laimbeer. Bill Laimbeer was a dude. The stuff that Draymond does is laughable to Bill Laimbeer. Bill Laimbeer was that guy. And Bill Laimbeer didn't care. And Bill Laimbeer still doesn't care. Bill Laimbeer was a goon's goon for the NBA player. Again, for anybody to try to, man, Laimbeer was a monster. And folks loved, how it's always like one of those guys that you think Bill Laimbeer is that guy you want to pick on? No. Bill Laimbeer was not who you wanted to pick on. He personified the bad boys. Absolutely. Charles says, just like tampering didn't really change anything in the NFL, will swap 8-11, but Atlanta will still get Turner and Minnesota will still get McCarthy. I can see that, Charles. I can see that. I could definitely see uh, Minnesota getting McCarthy. McCarthy or Penix. I really see they'll get anyone, but it seems like McCarthy has kind of risen up that list a lot. That's good stuff. Juan says it is fair. He bankrupt a team to win 2 rings and then went back to Cleveland where they had a better roster and superstar and Kyrie, Kobe, and MJ didn't change teams to win. Hello. ATL Focus in the house. What's one player that joined the Falcons that you didn't like as a player? Ray Edwards. That's an easy one. Very easy. um Atlanta Skate Man in the house. What's going on? What is going on? Thank you for joining us in here. We appreciate you. Jamal says, I love Desmond. We miss you. Oh, man. Winston says Kawhi had Lowry, who at the time uh, was a top 4 point guard, and Dirk had Chandler and Terry with an entire roster of first-round picks outside of Barrera with a Hall of Fame coach. Try again. Nah, that's not the same. That's not even close to the same. Nah, I mean, no, bro. You gonna have to you might have to come to a better example than that one. Jamal says Damian is hooping. He should be. Looks like I see 38 to 23 right now. He better. He better. Juan says good riddance. But Juan, you miss your guy.
I love Desmond.
I know you miss him, Juan. Stop it. Y'all make sure y'all take a look at the video. We gave a little shout out, a little tribute to Mr. Ritter at the end of my draft video. If y'all uh didn't see. Uh JJ says I couldn't wait for Ritter to go. Don't do us like that. Oh man. Jamal says, how you gonna say Kevin Garnett and then say LeBron made super teams? What? Didn't Kevin Garnett and Ray Allen form a super team in Boston? What? Oh, I know I wasn't saying Kevin I just mentioned somebody's name up there for Kevin Garnett. Yeah, I know he did the same thing. He absolutely did. Juan says they were not superstars, and Lowry wasn't a superstar point guard. Learned the difference between all stars and superstars. What he did win before that year with Kawhi, what has he won since? Y'all got some good valid stuff, man. Y'all got some good stuff. Jamal said, I'm not too young to remember Pepperidge Farm. Oh man. Winston says, Rodman was busting Jordan's behind, then Jordan had to go get him. Well, okay. So for the record, that's not true. Well, it's true Rodman's team was busting Jordan, and they won 2 championships after stepping over Chicago. But when Rodman came to Chicago, Chicago was already 3 rings in. So that's not exactly true. And so I disagree with that. Tiny says, does Trey Young return to the Hawks next season? Folks, I got really, really sad news if you think he is. I really think they're going to keep DeJounte and they're going to trade Trey Young. And when they trade Trey Young, they're going to get a really good package back from somebody. But I think Trey's time here, and just think about it, y'all. 3 years ago, we were foreshadowing how Trey was the man in Atlanta. Trey was the next face. He's the best face since Mike Vick. He was going to lead this team. His popularity would be over the Falcons. It would overshadow the Braves. It would do all of that because they got to that Eastern Conference Finals. And how interesting that it is that 3 years later, he's on the verge of possibly being very I don't even want to say overrated because Trey puts up numbers. Trey does things, but I just don't think we've had the right maybe fit as far as the players around him. Because I'm gonna tell you, Trey goes to the right team, Trey's gonna be nice. He's gonna be nice. But we really have to. I think you're at a point right now you can make a move. You have a very affordable contract with DeJounte, and you know you have somebody really good in DeJounte. Uh, I think, and people noticed when Trey wasn't there. I'm not saying Trey isn't great. I'm not saying that. But when Trey wasn't there, the Hawks functioned well. So I think you're gonna have. I think I would like to see what it's gonna look like without him. And you can get that albatross of a supermax contract out of the way. Juan says, and having a roster of old players past their all-star prime isn't the same as having Ray Allen, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Love, AD. Stop it. Well, y'all are going at it, man. And you know what? I see my buddy, the eye test in here. I'm going to give him a shout out up here.
I want to thank you all for listening and for your super chat. Mm, mm, mm.
My brother
Super chat.
My brother John Harris in the house, one half of the eye test with our brother Winston, who has been here battling with folks about basketball. He said, I'm just here so I won't get fined. No, sir, you'll never get fined in here, my friend. Y'all make sure y'all check John and Winston out on Wednesday nights. Usually, I think it's 10 o'clock with the eye test. Make sure y'all check them out. Henry says LeBron made those 8 or 9 straight finals because he was in a very inferior Eastern Conference. Ooh, that's another good point. It wasn't until you went to the finals the real competition began. The West were stacked then. That's probably a really good. That's a really good. Uh, that's really good. Winston says Ray Allen, Dwayne Wade, Bosh were on their last legs. Stop it, bro. Ray retired. Wade was trash, and Bosh couldn't stay on the court until he retired. Kyrie was young, and Love as only collected check. Love was a big part of that last team. He was. Tidy says Lambeer had a nice jumper. He did. He did. He could shoot. He had a nice mid-range shot. He really did. The stereotype was true in that particular case. JJ said, I get what y'all saying about Braun team hopping. I'm not a Braun fan by any means, but I'm trying to add some context to my argument. No, you good, man. Let me tell you something. What we don't do here. I don't care what your opinion is. I might disagree with it, but who am I to judge anybody's opinion? Y'all, a lot of people could be absolutely right, and some people get absolutely wrong. But as long as y'all put it out there and stand on what you stand on, ain't got no problem with that, man. Y'all talk your stuff. Another super chat in here from our brother in here.
Appreciate when you send Uncle Steve a super chat. Super chat. Super chat.
I tried to do the purple rain for y'all.
Super chat. Super chat.
My brother John says, I'm still trying to see what the problem is with players switching teams to get championships versus owners doing the same thing with players. Oh no, it's not any different. And folks, free agency changed everything because back in our day, when you had the teams, trades were rare. You didn't see multiple trade. They didn't have a day dedicated to trades because trades didn't happen. So I don't blame teams for trying to make instant magic with some of these teams by making these trades. I don't blame the players. And I think where this argument started is how somebody achieved their status. And the argument with LeBron is how uh, you know, how he did it. But I don't mind that. I don't mind him doing if that's what he has to do. Because 30 years from now, nobody's gonna care. Lisa, what's going on? She said, "Hey, Steve, happy Sunday. 4 days away from the draft. Let's see who's about to be mad with the Falcons." Oh, everybody's gonna be mad. Y'all already know that. Everybody's gonna be mad. Somebody will always find a way. Always. Barbara said Lambeer and Mahomes used to beat them up. It wasn't allowed. It was allowed back then. She's absolutely right. I'm gonna tell you what, man. The Hawks used to play Detroit pretty well. I I I was talking to my son about this topic. The Hawks had a really solid team back in the late 70s, early 80s, transitioning into the teens with Dominique, Doc Rivers, Kevin Willis, Tree Rollins. Those teams were always they would go head to head with the Bostons and Detroits and eventually Chicago's of the world. They just couldn't get over the hump. The Hawks were never slouches. They just played in at that time, the strength was in the East. At that time, you couldn't get past um, those three teams I mentioned. That's what the Milwaukee's couldn't get past those teams at that time. Sidney Moncrief, man, he was a beast on those Milwaukee teams, but they couldn't get past some of those good teams in the East. And in fairness, the Lakers, I mean, those teams in the West could score, but they had an easier route. Y'all got some really good stuff in here. I'm gonna grab a couple more in here before we bounce out. Howdy, ATLGA faithfuls in the house. What is going on, my friend? Thank you for joining us in Uncle Steve's Lounge. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Y'all make sure y'all check him out on his channel. On there, another one of those great content creators that we talked about. Uh, JJ said, my favorite NBA team smoked LeBron in the finals twice. Gotta be talking about uh my little Golden State team there. Kelvin says, what's lost is the teams LeBron lost to. Really? Really? Does any team compare to the teams LeBron had to face and play? Spurs and Warrior dynasties loaded with Hall of Famers. Again, the Spurs, another example. You can't really say that. If you, free agents didn't run to play with San Antonio, the Ginobilis, the Parkers, the Duncans, they all started there. I cannot take away from homegrown teams where their nucleus was the team, where their nucleus grew up together. That's why I can't give that opinion about Jordan and Pippen because they were drafted to the same team. I can't get that opinion about Clay, Steph, and Draymond because they were drafted together, the nucleus of the team. Even when Durant came in, Durant was joining the nucleus of those teams. So, yeah, you say loaded with Hall of Famers, but loaded with grew up together Hall of Famers. JJ says Trey Young coming to my Spurs this offseason. Now, that would be ironic if the Spurs turned around and gave some of that draft capital back to the Hawks uh, to get Trey Young. I don't see that happening because Wembanyama, they probably go get. Now, to me, there aren't a lot of great players coming out of the draft this year. So I don't know about that. We'll see. JJ in the house with another super chat. Thank you, my friend.
I know with Uncle Steve that we will always read. Read your super chat. Read your super chat.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you. And thank you for supporting the channel, man. One last question. Do you think KD going to Golden State hurt his legacy as opposed to helping it? I would say so. I would say so personally. A lot of people don't respect his rings. Here's the thing, and I made the point very briefly about a couple of minutes ago. Because of the recency of it right now, of course it's gonna look bad because he joined that particular nucleus of Steph, Clay. I mean, yeah, Steph, Clay, and Draymond. 20 years from now, nobody's gonna care. Nobody's gonna care. Robert Ory has 7 rings. Nobody cares about how he did it. He has 7 rings. History, the further we get away from the moment, the more the legend kind of builds. So for all those people upset now about Kevin Durant, and there are a lot of people, JJ, trust me, there are a lot of people that think, and there are a lot of people that's still mad at LeBron for doing what he did. There are a lot of people upset about that. He went to Miami and joined Wade when he couldn't do it himself. He joined Bosh when he couldn't do it himself. There's people that's still upset about that, legitimately. And I get it. But yeah, unfortunately, you're never gonna be able to please everybody. Well, I know he said, I'm tired of stepping all over these LeBron fans with that knee. Brother, you always welcome in here, Juan. Don't you leave me like that, man. You leave, we'll catch you later on, but you know good and well, brother. You always got a voice on here, man. Don't think that we ever gonna stop you like that. Brother Jack Doe in the house. What's going on, my friend? He said once Reggie White sued and got to be a free agent, it led to all sports free agency. My brother, that opened up Pandora's box when you start talking about what free agency did, especially in the NFL. Reggie White's case, and he got to be his own guy, and that really opened things up. It really did. Antonio says, oh, I had it right here. God dang it. Antonio says the Falcons, the Hawks failed Trey Young. I can believe that. They got the wrong pieces. They got the wrong pieces in there. They absolutely did. Barbara says they didn't build big man around Trey. Hawks owner is too cheap. And I'll say even the previous, because I'm gonna tell you what, Wrestler came in here off the rip and started spending money. I'll give him that. Now, maybe he spent it in the wrong place. Or maybe the big guys didn't want to come here. And you got to remember too, Atlanta, when you talking NBA, the marquee places are LA, New York, Boston. That's where people want to go. People aren't running to Atlanta. That's for sure. Folks aren't doing that. So it's fair. Dexter says, man, when Love went to LeBron, he was probably a top 3 power forward at the time. He was balling, and so was Kyrie. Man can't compare the way Jordan won his championships. LeBron is great, but not MJ. That's fair. And you got to remember, too, Kevin Love and Kevin Garnett actually shared the same type of career. Kevin Garnett was killing it in Minnesota, but had to leave to Boston to get his ring. And Kevin Love was a beast when he was at Minnesota, but had to go to Cleveland to get his ring and do his thing. So yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly. I hear you. I'm trying to get one more in here, folks, because I gotta break out of here. Mike says, I know he's not way up there, but I love the Admiral David Robinson. That's another one. That's another one that just loses loses all credibility. And David Robinson was nothing but at the time the best center going at that time. With all that length, he was really good. And he thanks Tim Duncan for coming in there his rookie year and helping him get there. Jamal comes out. He's absolutely right. He says uh, it's not a wrong answer between the two, but LeBron is the GOAT. Is my GOAT. No, I hear you. Absolutely. JJ said the GOAT debates are subjective. All of them. All of them. Antonio says Kevin Love was not great. Minnesota was 20 and 62. Somebody got to get the stats. So no, Kevin Love was really good on those Minnesota teams. I'm not trying to tell you he was life-shattering or earth, but Kevin Love was a really good player on Minnesota. When he came to Cleveland, he was solid. Absolutely no doubt about that. Don't get it twisted. I'm not trying to make him Shaquille O'Neal, but I am saying he was pretty good. But folks, look, y'all have been so awesome, man, and we do this all the time. Uh Sundays, chill out, open up everything, talk about everything. I appreciate everyone coming in Uncle Steve's Lounge for the Sunday chill. We'll do this every week, man. We got a long off season for the Falcons, so we open it up for all sports and all talk, pop culture. We'll go into it all. Thanks to everyone that joined us here. Thank you. I appreciate y'all from the bottom of my heart. It's been awesome. Thank you for the support for the channel. And we'll keep doing this Sunday chill thing until we get this thing started. Listen, Thursday, mark your calendars. We're gonna put some stuff on, especially on Facebook. I'll put some videos on, some pre-videos on YouTube. We will have the draft. Myself, Tidy from Atlanta Bird Gang. We will be together as we have been for, if I think it's correct, Tidy. When he comes back, I think it's our 5th or 6th year, at least 5 years together that we've done the draft. Y'all make sure y'all come. Bring your favorite drink with you. We usually toast the next Atlanta Falcon, as we've done for the last few years. Y'all check us out on draft night on Thursday. We'll put the starting time up this week. It'll be either 7:30 or 7:45 leading into the draft. Until then, everyone have a great rest of the Sunday. Appreciate y'all. Y'all take care. Like the video, y'all. Like the stream on your way out. Share the video. We appreciate you. Everyone have a great day. Peace.